In this video, I want to share with you my best tips for choosing a new sofa. We will of course focus on quality, but also on some important design considerations that perhaps you haven't thought of before. So let's start with design. The first thing I always think about when choosing a sofa is its intended use. How many people will be using it on a regular basis? Will you be lounging on it, or is it intended for the living room? Will you be having conversations with your guests? If you are planning on regularly using the sofa for just two people, having a two-seater may be a good idea. It will give both of you enough room to spread out a little bit. If you, however, are going to be using the sofa regularly to entertain and you may want to have three people sit on it, consider a three-seater or a bench seat. That's because nobody wants to sit on that seam between two cushions. We all like to have our little space psychologically. If you do choose a bench sofa though, do keep in mind that as beautiful as the design is, that bench seat will sag more than smaller sofas, and it will give you a more slouchy look. Don't be deceived by images in catalogs or on the website where that seat has been zhuzhed by a stylist. In real life, it will sag considerably more just because of its sheer length. If I do go with a bench seat sofa, I always look for sturdier fabrics that will keep things a little bit tighter. Also make sure that your sofa is proportionate to your armchairs if you have those in the room. If your chairs are petite, you certainly don't want a sofa that's big and chunky and tall. We typically want to keep our seating within a couple of inches of each other. And last but not least, the depth. That also has to do with how you're intending to use the sofa. If it's for lounging, watching TV, you can go with something as deep as 41 inches or deeper. Many manufacturers now offer those depths. If it's intended for your sitting room where you'll be having conversations with friends, a more shallow sofa, 35 to 37 inches, is more appropriate. It will provide you with greater support when you're sitting up and will also make getting up a little bit easier. Now let's talk about fabrics, a very important consideration. Performance fabrics are all the rage, and for a good reason. They do offer easier maintenance, but they're not foolproof. So don't expect that you'll be able to have a solid white performance fabric sofa and suddenly you won't have to worry about maintenance. You still will. What performance fabrics do is they buy you time when it comes to cleanup, and they repel stains a little more than regular fabrics. So if you spill some wine on your sofa, that will not permeate fibers and seep through right away. It will bead on top, giving you time to clean it up. But if you have a piece of chocolate that you rub into the fibers, whether it's regular fabric or performance, you will still have to deal with it. So what I always do is I look for fabrics that are not completely solid, but where the weave has fibers of various colors in it, some lighter, some darker. That makes it much easier to hide the signs of everyday wear, dust or dirt that you're likely to bring onto the sofa, and any everyday stains as well. So I always look for those types of fabrics. I also get asked whether I recommend outdoor fabrics for indoor sofas. And they may offer a little easier maintenance, but again, they're not foolproof. So don't expect a light colored outdoor fabric to be zero maintenance inside. And now let's talk about quality. There are three things I always look for when it comes to sofas. One is the quality of the frame. The other one is the quality of my cushions and the support for my cushions. So let's start with the frame. You've probably heard this phrase before, but I want to break it down for you here. Kiln dried hardwood frame. You want your frame to be made out of hardwoods because they're more durable and provide greater support. You also want it to be kiln dried. All this means is that the wood is dried so the moisture is removed. Moisture causes wood to warp. We don't want that. These days you will see some manufacturers make frames out of engineered wood. Engineered wood can mean two things. It can be plywood or particle board. We don't want particle board. But plywood is not a bad thing. Plywood is created from multiple layers of thin layers of wood that are glued together and compressed, creating a very durable, sturdy product. So plywood is not a bad thing. Particle board we probably want to stay away from. And also, we typically don't want to have soft woods, like let's say pine. The second thing is the support for your cushions. The Cadillac of a support is coil springs or 8-way hand-tied springs. You will typically find these in high-end furniture. They give your sofa great comfort, and they will last a long time. Many middle-of-the-road manufacturers opt for sinuous spring support, which is perfectly fine and will offer you longevity and support as long as it uses high-gauge steel and is properly spaced. And the third type is webbing, and this is where things get a little bit tricky. There is some high-quality webbing. For example, some Italian companies use webbing in their sofas, especially sofas that sit really low to the ground, because it saves on some height. But there's also webbing that's low quality and is used to reduce production costs. So if it's a reputable company whose quality I trust, and they offer good warranty, I may opt for webbing. But if it's an unknown brand, especially if they don't have good warranty and if the price is surprisingly low, then it's probably a good indicator that the webbing here may not be a superior quality. And last but not least, it's your cushions. What I like in my sofa is high density foam on the inside that is then wrapped in fiber or feathers. The high density foam is going to give your cushions nice clean lines and a taut look, and it's relatively low maintenance. That fiber or feather wrapping is going to give you more softness. What I don't love, as romantic as it sounds, is feather or down-filled cushions. I find them much higher maintenance. They will typically gather in certain spots, giving you more of a rumpled feel. I personally don't love that. I find that high-density foam works better. If you do choose a feather wrap on your foam, though, be prepared for some feathers to shed. For some people, that's a deal breaker. For me, I don't personally mind it, but you need to be prepared for that. So with that said, let's look at a couple of examples of sofas that are currently on the market and see if we can spot these important qualities. Here is a pretty popular design from Crate & Barrel. It's from their Lounge series. This comes as sofas and as sectionals. And I should mention here that I don't endorse any of these products. I just want to use them as examples of the things we look for. So here we can see that the frame is Benchmade with hardwood that's kiln dried to prevent warping. That's exactly what we're looking for. Durable, independently tested, spring up, Plexolator foundation designed to support cushions and eliminate sagging. We don't know which system this is. This is something that I might ask my rep to qualify. Soy-based polyfoam seat cushions, that's what we want, wrapped in fiber down blend. So here's that combination of your fiber and down, encased in down-proof ticking. Wonderful. They're using extra layer to prevent feathers from coming out. I find that this typically is not foolproof. You'll still get some feathers, but it minimizes that. Now, let's look at this sofa here. That's a new sofa from Crate & Barrel. FSC certified pine and engineer wood. Note how this is not kiln dried hardwood. I don't love pine for my frame. Pine is a soft wood. Engineered wood here, again, could be plywood or could be particle board. We're not sure. If your salesperson cannot qualify whether this is particle board or plywood, you may decide not to invest in this sofa unless you really love it and you want to read the reviews. But this is a new product, so most likely these reviews are written shortly after the piece has been received. So again, just make sure that you are aware of that. Here we have polyfiber foam and have feather cushioning. This most likely means that we have that feather wrap, and sinuous wire suspension. So we're kind of getting 2 out of 3. This one again may or may not be plywood, but I will try to qualify that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I encourage you to check out my Magazine Worthy Spaces Essentials Masterclass. That's where I share many more of my best tips and tricks that I myself use when I design client projects, and they allow me to create beautifully layered, curated, interesting spaces. I've included more information and the link in the description. Until next time.